All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us today for this special live conversation, although not so live now. I'm your host, Amy Emily, and today we're diving into a message that the world truly needs more than anything, and it's the message of kindness. I'm honored to be joined by Dr. Brandy Kelly, author, speaker, and creator of Spreading Sunshine with Kindness, Jensen and Rhett's Kindness Adventure. Through her work and her powerful system of hope, she's helping children, families, and communities turn kindness into meaningful everyday action. So, this beautiful story follows two young boys as they discover that kindness isn't just something we feel, it's something we choose, even when it's not always that easy. So, whether you're a parent, an educator, or someone who simply wants to bring more light into this world, you're in the right place. And with that, Dr. Kelly, how are you?
I am doing well, Amy. Thanks for hosting me today, and I'm looking forward to talking about this book with all of our viewers.
Yeah, me too. Do you want to start off by just kind of telling us what inspired you to write your book?
Yeah, so my grandsons, Jensen and Rhett, they're both three now. They were born 6 months apart. And so Jensen was born in July and Rhett was born in January. And after Rhett was born, I remember sitting in my living room and emotion just kind of flooded me. I was just so full of joy. These two boys had brought so much joy back into my life, that I just started to write. Writing has become a cathartic process for me, and I started imagining what the world was going to look like as they grew up. And one of the things I know from being an educator for over 20 years is that we need more kindness. And post COVID, in my experience as an educator, post COVID, people have lost civility. They
Hmm.
lost some of what I think we had a lot more of in the past. And I just want to remind people that read this book, that we can always choose kindness.
Yeah.
Everybody can be kind, no matter what your background, no matter your baggage, no matter what's going on in your life. Kindness is a choice, and we need to model that for our children. We need to teach that to our children. And most importantly, we need to live that each and every day.
Beautifully said. And I agree with you. Today, more than ever, we need that kindness. I mean, just in the past week, including you, I've spoken to two other authors who like they want to spread sunshine and kindness too, in their books too. So this is definitely something that we need. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Jensen and Rhett, which I see behind you in your cover there. So how much of the story is based on real life events?
Yeah. So, like I said, they're just three. So, a lot of it is what I am envisioning for their future. Um,
Mhm.
the main premise of the book is they come to Pa and Nana's house. Jensen and Rhett call me Nana. Jensen calls me Nana. Rhett, it's kind of cute, but Rhett has went from Nana to Nene. So it depends on the day what my name is, and I don't even care. So Amy, fun fact, whenever these boys were, we knew they were coming. We talked a lot about what I would be called, because I didn't want to be called grandma or granny or anything like that. And so I really contemplated what I would be called. And now that they're here, I don't care what they call me, just as long as they call me. And it
Oh,
doesn't matter. They can call me Nana, Nene, Grandma, whatever they want to. But they come to our house and they spend time with me and my husband, and it is so much fun. And these two boys are best friends. Rhett went to see his other grandparents in Tennessee not too long ago, and he was gone for 7 days. And Jensen came over one Friday afternoon and he said, Nana, I miss my best friend. When's he
mm.
coming home? And so just the premise, the boys coming over to my house, to Pa and Nana's house, that is true. That is something that I love. Each and every week, I'm able to spend some time with these boys. And in the book, we talk about baking cookies, and
Mm.
we bake cookies together. We talk about going out and doing chores with Paul, like raking the yard. They haven't raked the yard yet, but they help Paul with little tasks here and there and things like that. And they both have such kind hearts. They're good boys, they're kind boys, and I want to see more of that in our world today. And it starts with our kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Now, I know I have a copy of the book and I know and Nana looks awfully like you. So I think in that respect, it's kind of a mirror of real life.
Yes.
And can you share a little bit about like your journey as a writer? I know this is not your first rodeo,
Right.
but it's writing a children's book is a different beast. Maybe you
Mhm.
could share.
It is. It definitely is. My first book was Lead with Hope, Building a System of Self-Efficacy. And I met a fellow educator, Darren Peppard, and he has a publishing company called Road to Awesome. And I partnered with him. And with that first experience, that was more about building a system of hope, habits, optimistic outlook, purpose, and excellence, starting on the inside and working on ourselves to become the best leader that we can be. That story, the origin of that, and probably the reason this children's book came into existence is because if I go all the way back to why I wrote that book, it was because when I was 15 years old, my brother Brandon drowned.
Mm,
So I've experienced a lot of tragedy and a lot of grief in my life. 9 years later, my mom, she died of cancer, and then my dad had Parkinson's disease, and he's recently passed away. So I've carried a lot of grief, and I've learned that you can carry grief and joy at the same time. And that joy to overfilling was when these two boys were born, 6 months apart. So when I first wrote that very first book, it was a process that took about 3 years. And actually, as I'm thinking about that right now, Amy, this book took about 3 years because
mm,
both of my grandsons are 3 years old.
yeah.
The thing that I've learned about writing a children's book, because it comes with, yes, I wrote the story, but then it's the illustrations
Hmm.
and finding the person that is going to bring this story to life with illustration. And Katarina did a beautiful job. She did kind of the watercolor images that I was envisioning, and she did a beautiful job. Then the next piece of it was when we partnered together, and
Hmm.
you made this process so wonderful. And I appreciate all of your support in the process. But I'll be honest with you, I felt like a pest because I was coming back and I was doing edits still as we were getting ready to, put it on Amazon and put it on Ingram Spark. But I have learned that the process of writing a children's book, it's taught me more patience.
Hmm.
It's taught me that perfection isn't the goal. It's about getting this story out and sharing the message that kindness is
Yeah,
a choice, that there's always hope for a better tomorrow, and that we all need to work together to bring that about for our kids.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Writing a book is definitely a patience thing.
Yeah.
It's the long game, because yes, with children's book it's different because yeah, you got your story, you got to make sure it's edited, it's typeset
Mm-hmm.
into the illustrations. And and even me, I felt like a pest sometimes with my books, but here's the thing, right? It's a process. Every book's so different. And this is your introduction to the
Mm-hmm.
world as an author. So you got to make sure it's right.
Right.
And I think with any editor or illustrator or professional out there, that they understand that. And so finding that partnership truly is what makes a book successful. So since publishing the book, how has your life changed? How has Rhett and Jensen's life changed? Tell me about the inside scoop.
Yeah. So with Jensen and Rhett, Jensen, more than Rhett, he comes over because his mom works. Rhett's mom is a stay-at-home mom. So I go visit them, as much as I can. But I get Jensen every Friday. And on Fridays, one of the activities that we always engage in is reading this book. I-
Hmm.
This is one of Jensen's favorite books, maybe his very, very most favorite book, partly because he is in it and he can see himself in it. But that has been one of the joys that I've had since writing this book is just sitting down and reading this book that was created for these boys with these boys. In addition to that, I have created a song, Sparkle
Oh,
with Kindness. It's a sing along song with some of the, some of the message from the book, but getting that tune in your head and sharing it with kids, it just helps to solidify this message of kindness. And then my hope, Amy, is to be able to go into schools and to share this book with classrooms and with schools via author visits or school assemblies and
mhm.
starting a kindness initiative or a kindness adventure in a school. So if you're listening to this today and you have a school near you, please reach out to me. I would love to come to your school and to share this message of kindness and hope with your students. The cool thing about it, Amy, is that every kid could potentially leave with this book to take home and share with their mom and dad or with their Nana and Paul or whatever they call their grandparents. And that's how we spread kindness is by sharing this message, um, one person
Yeah.
at a time.
And kindness doesn't cost a thing, right? You don't need to go to the store and buy something. It really truly is something that anyone can do.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot about this song because I'm excited about this song. Is there a place that we can actually listen to it, or would you be willing to sing it? I mean, yeah.
I don't know that you want me to sing it. I do sing somewhat at church and things like that, but I don't think you want me to sing here. But what I can do, if you go to my YouTube channel
Hmm.
and you can go to my videos, and it's called Kindness Can Sparkle. And
Mm.
what I can do, Amy, let's see, can you hear that?
No, but another thing I can do is I can also have you share the screen, or I can definitely put it in the show notes with the link to the video.
Let's go ahead and plan on putting that in the show notes with the link
Okay.
to the video.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that with Zoom, with technology being what it is today, that it's going to work.
Sure. Okay, well, what about a reading?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. I can
Okay, let's
do
do a reading.
that. Okay, so Jensen and Rhett loved visiting their Pa and Nana's house together. Even though they lived far apart, their time together always felt like a bright summer day, a treasure to hold close, filled with laughter, imagination, and the warmth of family. One afternoon, while exploring the creek behind their grandparents' house, the boys stumbled upon a little turtle struggling to climb over a mossy rock. Rhett gently lifted the turtle while Jensen carefully cleared the path of twigs and leaves. Together, the boys guided the turtle to safety. Watching it paddle joyfully towards its family, the boys felt proud and happy. Later that day, the boys offered to help Nana make cookies. Jensen took charge of stirring, mixing the ingredients with a rhythm that made Nana smile. Rhett measured the flour and the sugar carefully with precision, his eyes sparkling with excitement. When the cookies emerged, golden and warm, Nana said, "You boys are such wonderful helpers."
Oh,
The next morning, the boys awoke to find that a strong breeze had blown leaves all over the yard. Pulling on gloves and grabbing rakes, the boys got to work. Paul looked on, chuckling at the boys' enthusiasm. "Thank you, boys. You make work so much fun," he said, with his heart full of gratitude. Rhett raked with determination, his cheeks flushed with effort, while Jensen joyfully put the leaves in the garbage bags. As they thought about their grandparents' kind words, a wonderful idea sparked in their minds. What if they could spread kindness beyond their grandparents' home? When Nana heard this plan, she said, "You boys are going to fill the world with kindness." "How will you show kindness?" Jensen asked Rhett. Rhett smiled. "I'd like to be a friend to someone who's lonely." Jensen nodded. "I think I'll help my friend Brody." Since he broke his leg, he's been using a wheelchair at school, and it's not always easy to roll through the busy hallways and carry all of his books at the same time. And the story goes on, and the boys spread kindness one act at a time. Jensen helps Brody and Lily, and Rhett meets a new friend and helps a custodian at his school. And by the way, and I haven't shared this with the custodian, but one of the other ways that this book mirrors real life is that this custodian is based off of a custodian that I had
Oh,
when I was a principal at Ramsey Grade School.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you can share that with her somehow.
So
And
I'm
yeah,
going to share a book with her, give her a copy of it, and share it with her that way, but I haven't had a chance to do that yet.
have you done book signings yet? Have you done an author visit yet?
I have not done that yet. We got this completely finished. What was it, Amy? About 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been talking to some schools about doing assemblies and authors visits, but I haven't booked anything yet.
Okay. And remind the viewers where you're based out of.
Sure. I am based out of Illinois. I am close to Litchfield, Illinois right now. And my website is sparkhopeedu.com. And at the upper right-hand corner of my website is a free consultation button, a button where you can grab some time on my calendar and we can do a virtual coffee chat and talk about this book or talk about my other book or other services that I offer.
Wonderful. Okay, so I know what one of my favorite stories is in the book, which is the one that you read in the very beginning with the turtle being helped across the river. Is there a particular story in this book that has special meaning to you or that really tugs at your heart? And if so, why?
Um, I probably have more than one, Amy, but the one that stands out is, of course, the cookies because it mirrors real life, and I love baking cookies with my boys. Every Christmas we do a Christmas baking cookie event, and this has become an annual tradition with the Kelly family. And then, again, when the boys come over and we're able to do so, they love baking cookies and doing things like that to help me in the kitchen. So, of course, that one is one of my favorites. The other one is the one with the custodian. And the reason for that is because, like I said, I have been in education for the past 2 decades, over 2 decades, and some of the most special times in my leadership journey is when kids step up and they do things like Rhett did, helping that custodian clean. Um, and, in one of my schools, the custodian would give little awards to classrooms for helping out and just promoting that idea of being kind to each other and how that ripples, and it's those little things that we can do, those small actions that we can take that make the biggest impact long term.
Yeah, especially when we're constantly hearing about bullying and things like that, at schools, workplaces, everywhere. I mean, this kid or this book truly isn't just for children, it's for all of us to show that kindness and how that can go a long ways. One of the things that I love about your book too is the emotional intelligence in it. You have themes of disability, family struggle, self-doubt, I'm trying to think, loneliness, right? So why was it important for you to include those themes in your book?
Yeah. So, I started out in 2001 as a school social worker.
Mm,
And when I have worked with kids and families and teachers, leaders, school districts, the whole gamut, you see this. You see this with the kids, but you also see this with the adults. And in our world today, it's kind of a saying that we say and we don't think much of, but hurting people hurt people.
mhm.
Hurting people hurt people. And so if we can start at a very young age and help these kids through kindness, through fostering belonging, and really at the core of it, Amy, is love,
Mhm.
loving one another. we can help these kids heal along the way instead of carrying all this baggage into adulthood and then being those hurt people that hurt other people.
So for those who are watching and listening, what's one thing that they can do today immediately to have a positive impact?
Today, there are so many things, but I would say pause
Hmm.
and make sure that the next interaction you have with somebody, you are aware of the energy you're bringing to that conversation.
Mm,
Smile, smile to somebody, say their name. The sweetest sound in the English language is your name. So
mm,
use their name. That's important. That's what people want. They want simple acts of kindness and they want to know that you care and that you find that that other person is important. So simple things like that, Amy. Use their name, smile at them, open
yeah,
the door,
yeah.
tell them you're glad to see them.
Those
Those,
are really good reminders. And
yeah,
even in our in our short conversation right now, you said my name several times already, Brandy, and just saying my name makes me feel part of the conversation, that I'm actually in the moment with you, that you're paying attention to me.
right.
And it makes me feel special. So I totally agree with you. Say that person's name, make the eye contact, and I think that's one thing we're missing a lot today, right? How many of us are guilty of looking at our screen or phone,
Yes.
and we answer without looking up.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And cell phones, technology, I mean, we couldn't do these kinds of things without technology, but
Mhm.
we also have to be cognizant of being present and being in that moment. And that might mean putting your cell phone away. I've started on Sundays just not even interacting with my cell phone just to kind of do a digital detox because we have become so addicted to technology and to our cell phones that we have to be intentional to do
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit more about your HOPE system? Like, can you break it down in terms of what those acronyms are?
Absolutely. So, Lead with Hope is, like I said before, my first book, and it's based on that system of hope being habits. H is for habits. This is mind, body, and spirit.
Mm,
So we've got to think of the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And those simple, small actions, the habits, the things that we do every day become habits. And that eventually determines our character and the legacy we're going to leave whenever we're gone. O is optimistic outlook. That's that mindset piece. There are so many people that are caught up in a swirl. They're on a hamster wheel, and their mind is so busy all the time. There's so much noise, and we have to take captive our thoughts. So O is that mindset piece with that outlook. P, it's actually P3. It's purpose, passion, and perseverance. And Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning says that we can overcome almost any circumstance if we know our purpose.
mm,
He was in a war camp and he was able to stay connected with his purpose and survive that horrific condition by knowing what his purpose was. So we have to know why we do what we do. We have to know our purpose. And this is something I learned the hard way, passion. We need to connect with the things that light us up, the things that we love to do. And sometimes in the busyness of life, we forget to do things that bring us joy.
mhm. Yes.
We have to connect with our purpose, do things that light us up. And those two things help us to persevere because it's not if we have hard times, it's when we have hard times. So, purpose, passion, perseverance. And that helps us to cultivate a life of excellence. Not a perfect life, but a life where we're getting 1% better every single day.
Mm,
We are becoming the best version of who we are. And I believe it starts on the inside with the heart, and then everything from the heart flows outward. And that is one of the reasons why, Amy, last year about this same time, I left my job. I had worked for 24 years to become a superintendent, and I had reached the pinnacle of my career, and I decided to leave because I wasn't truly leading with hope anymore. And in order for me to live and be authentically who I believe God created me to be, I had to step away from that and build something brand new at a time in my life where I thought I'd be planning for retirement. I'm building something brand new by writing and speaking and coaching leaders because I believe I'm perfectly positioned to help the person that I once was.
Mm, that's so beautiful. And what a gift to be able to do that and to, find out what that purpose is. Because I feel like tragically, a lot of us don't know what our purpose is. And we go through that that grind
Yes.
until one day we're 50, 60, 70 years old and we're like, well, what was that all for?
Right.
And you're doing something remarkable, right? Because you pivoted, you found what brought you joy, and you're making that your life's mission right now. Um, do you feel like there's more to come? Like, are there other things in your will that you feel like hasn't been tapped into that you're gonna explore?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got some big dreams. I mean, I think God places dreams in your heart for a reason. One of my goals and dreams is to write a book every year.
Mm,
Rest of my life, writing one book every year for the rest of my life. Some of them will be children's books, some of them will be leadership books, some of them will be faith-based devotional books. I don't have the full, roadmap yet, but I do plan on writing another book every year for the rest of my life. The other thing is just continuing to build out Spark Hope EDU and telling my story. Um, my story is one of turning pain into purpose and sharing that message of hope wherever God places me, because I do believe that every one of us has a story inside of us, at least one book inside of us that we can write and that we can share how we became the hero of our own story, how we have overcome the adversity that has been in front of us to get to where we are. It's a journey of becoming, and I don't have the full roadmap, which makes me a little nervous because I'm a big planner. I'm a type A personality. I like to have that 5 year plan. And for the first time in my life, I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time.
And you're okay with that, you think?
Some days I am, Amy.
Okay, so we know you're gonna write another book. What do you think is gonna be that next book?
I know I have to write another children's book for my next two grandsons. So I've got one, his name's Bo. Bo is one. And then I've got one coming this summer, and his name is going to be Jude. So God is blessing me with a bunch of grandsons. And
Hmm.
so that book is it's to be determined. I don't have a title yet, but I know it's coming. The one that I'm working on right now, Amy, it is a devotion, and it's called When Life Speaks. It's a journey of God's hope and faithfulness in our lives, and it's just little
You.
stories of my life and how God has worked all things for the good. And so that one is in the works right now. I'm editing it. Um, and then I'm toying with the idea of a fable. As I shared
Mm,
with you, my
yeah.
brother Brandon, he drowned when I was 15. And I believe that we all have moments in our life where we come to a crossing. My brothers Brandon and Dustin came to that creek. They were at that crossing and they had to decide, do we go through it? Do we go around it? How do we, proceed at this crossing, and the choices we make will change our life. And so this would be a fable of two brothers and how they came to that crossing and how the choices they made changed their life forever.
Mm, I love it.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Hurry up and write it. I can't wait. Yeah, we don't see fables much these days.
Yeah.
And And like growing up, I remember reading fables. I remember reading Pick Your Own Adventures, like I feel like we need to bring that back and you're doing your part. So thank you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that one. And that one will be a fun one too, because, I'm thinking of the target audience being junior high and high school kids, especially, and thinking about the quiet currents in our lives. The quiet
Mhm.
currents, like we talked about it before, Amy, the cell phones.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
does that affect our mental health? I talked to a young lady once when I was a superintendent, and I asked her how many hours she thought she spent on a cell phone a day. And she said easily over 8, probably closer to 10 or 12. And I said,
Hmm.
how does that correlate with your mental health? And she said, the more time I spend on my phone, the worse my mental health is.
Hmm.
And I said, then why do you spend that much time on your cell phone if you know that? And she said, I'm bored. I don't know what else to do. So the kids know that there's a negative correlation with their mental health. It's harming them, but they're addicted to those
Hmm.
cell phones, and they're addicted to that scrolling and that dopamine hit by, going to Instagram and looking at how many people are liking their posts. But that's a quiet current. Drugs, I mean, that's an obvious one. Um,
Hmm.
my brother that lived has had that struggle in his life. That's been a current, a quiet current in his life that took hold. And there are countless other quiet currents that our kids are facing today. Some that you and I experienced as we were growing up, and some that we didn't. And
Yeah.
so just giving voice to that and helping them see a way out, I think is important.
Absolutely. I feel like with social media, it's a vicious cycle where you're bored. So you go on and you look at these reels
Yeah.
and you think, okay, now that's the fear of missing out, or, it's an escape because, you feel like, okay, I'm a part of something, or I can see something that will make me laugh and, feel a little bit of joy because my life is boring. But it's easily fixable, and to your point, just get out there, rake some leaves. I mean, it's maybe not the most fun thing to do, but you're outdoors and who knows, there's little adventures every day that happens.
Yeah, just go on a walk. And if you
Mhm.
see a stranger, smile at them and say hello. You never know where it's going to go from there. It may be a simple hello, it may be a conversation that you never anticipated that day. Anything's possible, but it starts with, like you said, putting yourself out there and being kind. And I believe, Amy, that we were meant to be in community. We were meant to live this life with other people and to support one another and to lift one another up. And we can always choose to start doing that any day with a simple act of kindness.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, will you speak momentarily to the community, the educators, the parents? How can they leverage you, your company, and this book?
Yeah. The easiest way is go to my website and just book a call with me. It's free. We can start by having a conversation, and I have free resources that I'm happy to give to you. Um, and you can start this kindness initiative in your school. You can go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble or anywhere where you get your books. Pick up a copy of the book. Right now, I'm running an ebook promotion. It's 99 cents. Get the ebook for 99 cents, and you can see what this book is all about. I'm also working on some other resources, a coloring book, and things like that, that just help to spark that conversation with kiddos. But, you know, if I can support you, you can get in contact with me. Book a free call. I would love to connect with you. We can talk about the many ways that we can spark kindness and hope in your school or your organization. As I said before, along with author visits and assemblies, I do leadership coaching, keynotes, opening convocations at schools. There's a lot of ways that I can support you in this journey. And just remember, you weren't meant to do it alone. So reach out. I'm happy to help.
Thank you. And once again, what's your website, Brandy?
sparkhopeedu.com.
Super. Thank you. I really enjoyed our short time together, and I hope that you come back. Actually, I would love to have you on my podcast when we both have that availability. But one thing that I will say about your book is it's actionable. It's not, kindness is not something that you just feel. It's something that you can actually do. And we all have that capability. So it truly is a book for everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you for that inspiring conversation. And viewers, Dr. Brandy Kelly, thank you again for sharing your heart, your story, your mission with us. And to everyone who's watching, if today's message resonated with you, please, I encourage you to take one small act of kindness into your day. You never know how much it might mean to someone. And please do reach out to Dr. Kelly, get her book, Spreading Sunshine with Kindness. And then, we look forward to more from you, Brandy. So thank you again, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. God bless you.
Thank you. All right.
All right.